Hi, my name is Good Guy Mike. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to another quick and dirty tutorial. Today we're going to be going over where to build a base. Okay, so there are a few rules that you want to follow whenever you're looking to set up a base. Alright, rule number one is that you don't want neighbors. Alright, so look at your map. Wherever you're thinking of setting up a base, look around, and if there are these empty spots, that means that there are no trees there, which means that there is likely somebody starting a small base from there. And the matter of fact is that people will likely steal from you when you are starting up because you don't have the ability to put up walls and lock up your stuff safely. It's unfortunate, but it's true. So you're going to want to avoid areas that have a lot of populace around it. Alright, the second rule is that you want an area that is fairly close with clay by. If you see this little area right here, it has clay. That's great because you're going to need clay for a lot of different buildings, both higher tier and lower tier, such as your furnace and such as castle walls. Alright, the next one is that you're going to want to be fairly close to water. Water, however, is not a necessity. Water, you can always run up to it, gather about 200 water, and that's going to keep you for a very long time. Arguably long enough until you can actually build your own well inside of your own little area. Alright, so you want to be fairly close to woods. You don't want to be in the middle of a very large empty area. And the third one and the final one is that you don't want to be on an area that is very bumpy like this. Alright, if you're on an area that's very bumpy like this, the amount of time it's going to take to terraform this area down is going to be huge, and it's going to be a giant waste of time. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and run around, and I will bring you back in once I find a few spots that I think are suitable for a base. Alrighty, so if you look at the map, you can see right there that we actually have clay and we have mountains, which means that it's probably likely that we will have clay and iron fairly close by. But if we look at in real time, actually somebody's already set up here. And this is not a good spot for two reasons, alright? So, the slope of this hill means that it's going to take forever to flatten out an area. As you can see, this is a pretty dramatic flattening that has occurred over just a 4-spot area. Not only the slope on this side, but also the slope on this side. So the amount of time it will take to dig down this area so you can get it flat, so you can actually start building a little house and starting a small base, is going to be astronomical. Alright, so we're not going to set up a base here. In fact, we're going to keep moving on. Okay, so welcome back. So now if you look at this area, it looks like we're actually a little far from water, but it's actually not too bad because the swamp right here has a little bit of water in the middle. Now the one bad thing about swamps is that they slow you down to a walking pace as you're walking through them. So you're going to want to run to this far side and then walk through it the shortest distance and walk out, then run back. That said, you'll need to get water probably about once. Alright, we are fairly close to some clay, actually several deposits of clay, and some woods, and it's a fairly flat area. Alright, the one downside, however, is if we look over here, we have ourselves a moose that is just chilling out. Unfortunately, moose and wolves always spawn together. I've never found a time that rule has not been true. You can chase the wolf away, or you can chase the wolf away from the wolf by the moose, pardon me, by using yourself as bait and eventually outrunning it, but that wolf and moose is going to be fairly dangerous, especially if they start to wander around at all. That said, if you're willing to deal with a little bit of danger, then you can go ahead and set up in this spot. Alright? The other thing that you're going to want to make sure you look for is iron, alright? And how you find iron is just prospecting. And iron is cool in the fact that it will spawn in anywhere. When you first spawn in, however, you need to level up your prospecting by just prospecting for copper until you level up enough to search for iron, and iron just spawns underneath the ground at probably about level 6 unless you're at a fairly elevated level, and then it can be anywhere as deep as 12 or 13. Hopefully it's not for you, but go ahead, do some prospecting. Alright, so I think that this is a good spot for me. Remember, the rules of where to set up a base are you want to make sure you have clay nearby, because you're going to need clay for a lot of different buildings. You're going to want to make sure that you have no neighbors. I went around and checked the areas around this. Seems that I don't have any close by neighbors. You also want to make sure that it's fairly flat. This area is pretty flat. It's got a little bit of a lip up on each side, but honestly I can build an area in between that, which won't be too bad. Alright, you want to make sure also that you have water somewhere nearby. You don't want to be extremely isolated because water is always necessary for a lot of different things until you get your well. Alright, and then another one that's kind of iffy is being close to animals like this. You want to be careful about this, but it depends on how experienced you are at this game. I'm pretty experienced. I've outran a lot of wolves, I've killed a lot of moose, and I've actually killed a wolf before, so I'm not too worried about it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If it was, let me know. If there's something you want to see in the next one, also let me know. Anyways, you guys, keep being good guys, and I will see you in the next one. Take it easy. Hey guys, this has been a quick and dirty tutorial for Life is Feudal. If you enjoyed this, then let him know by leaving a like, favorite, subscribe, or commenting and asking what you want in the next tutorial. Anyways, thanks for sticking around guys. Go ahead and check out the actual series, and I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.